That means we are disabling right click, we are disabling selection on this page, right? You cannot select, you cannot right click. These are the very general thing, very simple also. Just you need to make sure that these events are returning false. I am asking you to try the same in your Angular application, but it cannot be similar in Angular application. Few changes. Remember, you can write an event and on event also return false. That means what? So you can write like disable right click like this you can write, and at the top in the script, that means there in your TypeScript file you have to write some logic. So we have a function, in the function disable right click, and we can keep this function to return false. I hope you understood. You can directly write or you can write like this, or there is another technique also. What you can do is document dot you have event like on context menu is equal to, so it is a function, and this function should return false. You can try like this also. There are so many techniques to handle. You can handle in any way you want. I hope you are clear with this, right? So you can handle in any one of these ways. Now, if you know these things in general HTML and JavaScript, then I'm asking you to try the same with the Angular also. I'm asking you to try the same with Angular. So that means your Angular application should not allow right click inside it, should not allow selection, should not allow to copy and paste. You try that, right? So this is the general approach what we can do. I will give in the notes here. So this is generally done. And this you need to try on your pages. And another example that we designed. So this is a simple example, like how we can handle events demo. So here .ts file, I'm adding this logic. So on the TS file, I'm just adding this logic. And in the .html file, I'm adding this one. HTML file, I'm adding this one. Right. So this is one simple example of how we can manage the events. Right. .html, and in that you have to write this logic. Okay. You additionally try how to disable them. Your task is try disabling this so that anyone cannot select, right click and do operations. And similar to this, so events like double click, that means, for example, I'm adding another div. So class as form group. Suppose we have an image source. So it is some assets, some image, some shoe.jpg. Okay. And here we have width as some 50 and the height also 50. So 50 image height width is defined here, and this is the image we are having. Now below that image, I'm adding just a label saying that double click on image to view large, like this, so that user will double click on that image to view large. So then we have to handle an event here. So that is public on DBL click. On DBL click, So what it has to do is, it has to open our page, that photo in a separate window. That means you can use, so the options like window dot open. Window is a JavaScript object. It will open a window inside browser, and it should open assets slash shoe.jpg, and that window title should be like shoe. Okay, that means the window should have a title, and so that we can call it by title, and we have to define the features like width is equal to some 400 pixels, and height is equal to some 300 pixels. Means how much size for that window should be displayed. And on double click, it will open that photo in a separate window, and we have to write that for the image, and we will use dbl click is equal to, we have to configure on double click. On double click, it should open in a separate window. Now I double click on that, then it should open in a separate window. It should open in a separate window. The width and height, how you configured for that. That means here, the width and height. So here, the width and height, I'm defining some 800 pixels and 400 pixels, and or 500 pixels like this. And I double click on this, then it should open the image to that size, and it should open the image to that size. It should open the image to that size, We can do a lot of things here. We can make it to fit the window. We can remove the scroll bars, right? We can remove the this address bar. These are all JavaScript features. Through JavaScript features, we can hide the bars, and we can display only the image in a dialog. So these are the options that we can handle with various types of events actually. That means on double click, it is handling an additional functionality. So just here, so to this example, to this example, so some more additional work you can do is you can add this on double click, and how we can manage that. Just write an event on double click, on DBL click. You have to manage. So generally, this much not required for Angular people actually, because Angular people have good background of JavaScript, and because UI developers and the front-end developers working on client-side environment, they need to be strong in JavaScript. That's the reason anywhere they will just show you 1-2 events and say that this is how we manage events in Angular. The same way you have to manage all other events also. No need to explain all these points, but I just given an overview for that. And one more important, regularly what you need generally is, this is very important, submit event, which we use regularly. And it is very important for us. So generally, you should know that submit is an JavaScript event used for form element. It is used for form element. And submit event fires up only on submit button click. That means it will not work for other types of buttons. I think you know that. So button is having several types of buttons are there. We have a button type, and we have a button type as submit.